Thanks a lot for the warm welcome and the kind words that have been spoken. Uh, Mukul Bhai, CA Gaurav Garg, Pankaj ji, and all the fraternity brothers and sisters who are present here. So I feel a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of respect when I stand here, as has been discussed that I was and I am a part of this fraternity and have been working in the regulatory agencies from last more than a decade now. I was approached to discuss that if we can share the regulatory perspective at this forum, it will be very beneficial for all of us. So firstly, a very big round of applause for all the people who are here. Because of this fraternity, we have been able to help the corporate governance at a very big level. But again, a big round of applause for all the innovators of fraud who also emerged from this room and from outside. Because in my experience, what I've seen is that in any case that I've handled, it has been the mind, techniques, and some innovation of a finance professional. So while I was thinking what to address in this gathering, what came to my mind was that firstly we shall go through that why this requirement had come for the forensic accounting. So when the need and the greed and the opportunity and the revenge, these are the four factors come together. I call it a NGRO framework. Because in most of the cases, when they come for the forensic accounting or it reaches that extent, that why it requires a very depth analysis is because of the reason that somebody has gone through these stages. It may be a promoter, it may be a stakeholder, which can be in the form of investor, any employee, any business partner of that particular group. So, when the need factor is there, it has emerged from the point of view of mainly promoters who are directly related to the business and they somehow was in need of doing this particular so-called fraud. Then the second factor is the greed. And as we all are aware, then when we pass from a particular hierarchy of need, as we must have read in the Maslow's need hierarchy, then we come to a level when we require more and more of something. And then it results into kind of deceit. The third is the revenge. In many cases, agencies have seen that it's the tussle between the promoters, between the brothers, between the employer and the employee, due to which it has come to this level. And the fourth is the opportunity. Many times we have seen that whenever a new Joomla comes, a new incentive scheme has come, a new subsidy scheme has come. Recently only we have seen in one of the very big subsidy scheme, the government, that one group has tried to manipulate the provisions of the subsidy scheme and then they saw an opportunity and then they were involved in a particular kind of fraud. So when we say that something is grooming in terms of which can result into a particular fraud or scam, there are certain areas that the agency thinks whenever a forensic assignment is given. So these four factors help us to establish the purpose or the objective, which in the legal language is called the mens rea. So the mens rea, why it is very important in any forensic assignment is that on the paper it looks very, very good. Because whoever plans this or whenever it happens, it is because that the person has planned it. So the purpose is very important. But what happens when we engage any professional to do the forensic accounting is that they think it's an audit. Audit is mostly, as we are aware, is the compliance based. In the pre-audit, we ask for the data, we do some analysis over it, we see that these are the outliers, these are the gaps, these are the areas I should get information about. Then we go on the field, look at and tick it, okay, this is not okay, this is the SOP that we have framed, this is the deviation from there. So this forensic differs from the audit. Here the main purpose is to know why it has happened, the purpose for which the entire scheme was envisaged, and where we are able to reach to this particular point. I think 80% of the assignment solves over there itself. The purpose of a stakeholder, promoter, or any other person who is involved in a particular scheme may be different. In many of the statements when we take of the accused people, we saw that many professionals also just say that, sir, हमें तो उन्होंने ये particular amount दे दिया और बोला कि ये डायरेक्टर बन जाओ, हम बन गए, पहले जो साइन होने थे वो हो गए, या बाद में बस बोला साइन कर दो और हमें इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं पता. So this is not only a violation, but is a extreme form of getting hands in gloves with the culprits. But it happens very mostly. Why so? As I have said, the purpose is different. As a professional, many times I feel that, okay, what I have to do nothing, and this is the way I can be there. But he is not able to understand the entire scheme of things and the purpose. So whatever we do in the form of a forensic assignment is that we understand from a particular person's point of view. The other difference between audit and forensic is that whenever we do an audit, it's for, say, 1 year or for a particular period of time. But whenever you do a forensic assignment, its origination can be 10 years back. It can be since the incorporation of the company. So you might have to understand the company is working since its inception. So when I am able to understand that how my financials, how my workings, how my entire operations have moved, and when this particular unhealthy symptoms in the financials emerged, only then we will be able to understand that what has been the genesis of this particular forensic requirement. So in the purpose, I have given you a framework that we have to see in between the need, greed, revenge, and the opportunity, and to find out what is the purpose. Many of the reports that we come across after 6 months, year of the forensic is, sir, ये entry यहाँ से यहाँ चला गया, ये देखो ये fraud हो गया. In the courts also, 3 major things have been established by the courts as well, that the purpose, the modus operandi, and the impact. If these things are established, only then the role of accused can be there, and he or she may be liable for the penal provisions. But what happens when the forensic assignment is given is that most of the people who we come across are the people who are very good in auditing, but as an investigator, which is a major differential point, we fail to establish that why this has happened, how it has happened. They are only, again in the report at the last, they are at the symptoms. Sir, we have done the analysis, and in this we have found that this person has established in the modus operandi in the form of giving the loans. But we are not able to establish in most of the cases that how it has moved from one person's pocket to another person's pocket or the third person's pocket, and why it has happened, and who has been the main conspirator in the entire scheme. So therein that report or the assignment fails. So what we expect from any forensic assignment is that maybe any agency, maybe ED, CBI, SFIO, income tax, that whenever these kind of assignments are undertaken, these three factors of purpose, the modus operandi and the impact, must be seen. Now, dwelling further into the course of the modus operandi, what I want to submit here is that there are two things which mainly comprise for getting the output. One is the capacity building and the second is the value creation. So when I talk about capacity building, as we have seen in the entire our own journey, that I am an expert in auditing, I have done so many accounting assignments, but the team I have is not equipped enough for doing the particular investigation. Like we have been talking a lot about the AI tools, but let me tell very frankly that even the major firms I have come across, they are not even at the level of technology, which was a precursor to AI. We have asked so many say firms about the tools that they can deploy for creating, for example, the money trail. But neither the big firms were equipped even on a technological point of view to address basic investigation. So my mission is that when we equip ourselves and when we do our capacity building, it will be very useful for you and the assignments that you do and will help you in getting ahead in the form of your contribution to the entire forensic field. Secondly is the value creation. So when we talk about the value creation is the final output that we are looking at. In any forensic assignment, what we want to see is that every person's role with the modus operandi is clearly established so that the victims of those particular accounting misrepresentations come to foray. But an accounting person many a times remains the accounting person. What he does, we download all the financials, we look at all the audit reports, and then we come to the conclusion that, okay, this money is not there in form of this way or that way, and these are the entries, these are there. But in the entire scheme of the forensic is one of the important point that it is not only limited to accounting. There may be instances when the impact, for example, when we do so many real estate cases, we see that the money is there, but the home buyers are victims. Why? Because of the delay, because of non-certainty of getting their due. So the responsibility of a forensic assignment travels far beyond the accounting world. You may see it from a social point of view, from a regulatory point of view, from a point of view wherein we feel that this person has not got his or her due. But in most of the forensic reports, what we see is that these are the entries and there it has flown. So the capacity building and the value creation are very important aspects in modus operandi. Because until unless we come to a point when we are able to outpass the mind of the person who has done it, we will not be able to reach the level at which this particular accounting misrepresentation have happened. In income tax also, you people might have represented for most of your journey. What I have seen is that whenever any investigation, search action happens, and later on when the appraisal report and other scrutinies are finalized, many times what we have seen is that the replies that are represented are not in line with what is actually being investigated. So the gap is in terms of perhaps understanding that what regulators is asking for. For example, when the spatial audit happens, I think most of us have done the spatial audits under 142(a). Why these assignments are given by the agencies are specially looking at the complexity of the financials. But when we have to do an in-depth analysis, which forensic is meant for, what we see is that, for example, the group is on the SAP and so many complex ERPs, and then they are using a web of companies which runs into hundreds of companies. The report that comes out, the output is very, very limited. Because perhaps our understanding and the understanding of the client and the regulator does not align in a particular sense. So many companies are formed, but we neither look at the MOA of those particular entities which have been created. And the entire scheme is limited to just at the entries of the main company. Wherever the money might have rotated through other shell companies. Then there are ethical issues as well. What we have seen is that many a times there are glaring, I would not say mistake, but it is very glaring from the report that it was very evident, but that aspect has not been looked into. Maybe that you are just looking at that money has moved to a vendor based on dummy invoices, say. But it is a very natural corollary to it that what the vendor was the vendor into the same line of business, what the vendor has done with the money, what are the GST, VAT scenario compliances, but we don't comment on it. Rather, we have to see the next level, that how that vendor came into picture. From the inquiries, we came to know that it's very difficult to make money vanish. All of you have been expert into all the accounting field, but to get into a web of those people who can help you in your scheme, they don't extend beyond, firstly, the family members, then the friend circle, then the professional circle. It's very difficult to find more than 10-20 people who can help you in making the money vanish. And that web is not very difficult to crack. But what happens? We are just limited that in the company this entry has happened, that entry has happened, but we never think about the overall scheme of things. So in my experience, what I want to emphasize upon is that if you look at while doing an investigation assignment, if you look at the overall family tree, you look at the overall asset analysis of the main circle and the next circle of the promoters, you might be able to see that how the money has moved. The other challenge comes in a forensic assignment is the foreign transactions. Although we have a mechanism from the side of RBI, 15CCB, and other investigative agencies such as FIO, they get a lot of data. But all this is based on the certificate that is given by this fraternity. So your role is very paramount when we talk about not only forensics, but in the entire scheme of things. And CA fraternity has been a very torchbearer in most of the assignments. And all the CA firms that we come across, somehow what we feel is that they are, in the larger scheme of things, connected to the maybe auditor, maybe the person who has done internal audit, or the other accounting services providers. So there you will have to draw a circle that, okay, me and my team, when are working for the regulators, we are a part of the regulator rather than the person who are doing accounting services for the particular client. So we have talked about the purpose, we have talked about the capacity and value creation for looking at the modus operandi. The AI that we talk about, you have a separate session for that, can be a very, very useful tool. But that emerges again from reading the mind of the people who have been in the misrepresentations. Until unless you read that, AI will read only what you are capable to do, but in a faster and efficient manner. So until unless you think that this data is to be structured in such a way so that I get this output and I am clear in my mind that this is the input, this is the output, I will not be able to efficiently use my technology or at the next level AI. So we have to invest our time and resources in training our firms, our structure for preparing in the form of technology and AI. The next challenge that I face is that we take the forensic assignment, but the person on the field who actually does the work is a person who has very little understanding. As a partner, I am very capable. As a senior, I am very capable. But how that transforms on the field is a challenge. In most of the forensic assignment that we have given, what we have seen is that, okay, your team of 2, 3, 4 people is there on the field, but how equipped they are is a question mark. So, role of the senior when the particular assignment is taken can be only fulfilled when at a regular interval the guiding and the involvement happens. But क्या होता है, पार्टनर तो असाइनमेंट लेके चला गया, फील्ड पे टीम बैठी है 3-4 लोगों की, और वो सोचते हैं हमें तो रिटेनरशिप की तरह यहाँ रख दिया है, हमें तो यहाँ पे बस जो कहा जाएगा कर लेंगे और नहीं तो अपने घर चले। उससे क्या प्रॉब्लम आती है कि इन्वेस्टिगेशन क्या है कि जितना यूपीएससी की तरह पढ़ते चलोगे उतना आता जाएगा, देयर इज़ नो लिमिट टू इट। जैसे ऑडिटिंग अकाउंटिंग असाइनमेंट में तो हमें पता है कि ये इनके फील्ड ऑफ वर्क हैं, इनको मैंने इतना इतना डाटा कलेक्ट कर लिया है, ये इनके एसओपीज़ हैं, ये मैंने देखना है। बट इन्वेस्टिगेशन देयर इज़ नो स्टार्ट एंड देयर इज़ नो एंड। If you will start looking at a particular money trail, it may go to 3 level, 4 level, 5 levels. And if you start looking at the web of companies, you search for any dean, you know that in any group, if there are 10 directors, those 10 will lead you to 100. The next leg will become 500, 1000. So it is upon the team that how interested they are, how passionate they are about doing investigation. But the team which is deployed on the field is mostly comes from either the auditing background or from the accounting background. And then what they feel is कि सर हमको डाटा दे देंगे तो हम इसको एनालाइज कर देंगे, और ये पूछो एनालिसिस क्या करेंगे तो सर चार्ट बना देंगे। चार्ट बना के क्या करोगे, चार्ट बना के सर इसका जो है हम देखेंगे कि ये ट्रेंड कैसे चल रहा है। ट्रेंड बना के क्या करोगे, ट्रेंड बना के हमें पता लग जाएगा सर कि एक ये अच्छा पॉइंट मिल गया कि ये देखो ये ऊपर चला गया, ये इतना नीचे चला गया। इन 100 डाटा एंट्रीज मैंने देख ली होंगी तो ये मैं 4-5 में ये कह सकता हूँ कि ये देखो सर ये इनसे डिफरेंट है, क्योंकि माइंडसेट इज मोर टुवर्ड्स फाइंडिंग द गैप, नॉट टुवर्ड्स द इन्वेस्टिगेशन। तो हमें ना केवल अपने आप को ट्रेन करना है इन कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग, the value will create only when as a team which is there on the field is aligned in the mindset.
Sir, one more challenge which comes in terms of staff, which I believe that it takes 6 to 8 months to do the execution of the report, and it takes time to finalize it. And at that time, the person who has done the audit, he is not available in the firm.
Yes, right.
Or maybe he is deputed for another assignment. Right. So this is a challenge which I think regulator faces from our side.
Yes. So I was about to come, which Pankaj has mentioned, that कि जैसे मैंने कहा कि मैं टीम में बैठा हूँ और मेरे को डाटा दे देंगे वो मैं एनालाइज कर दूंगा, नहीं तो हम घर चले अपने। और उसमें क्या होता है, आफ्टर 1 or 2 months, 3 months, his mind starts working when he is there on the field, और उसको लगता है कि अच्छा ये हो सकता है, because we all are very responsible people as a fraternity. तो उसको जब समझ आने लगता है तो फिर वो जैसे ही काम करने लगता है फिर उसका मन किया 6 महीने हो गए, अब तो जाने का टाइम आ गया है। तो जब तक हम एज अ टीम उस पर वर्क नहीं करते, वो जो है ना कनेक्ट बिटवीन द रेगुलेटर एंड द पर्सन डूइंग द असाइनमेंट, वो हो जाता है। बट जब तक टीम साथ में नहीं चलती तब तक उसका कोई आउटपुट नहीं होता, क्योंकि आप माइंड को पूरा का पूरा नहीं उसको नेक्स्ट पर्सन को समझा सकते। आपने फिर वो 3 महीने के आउटपुट जो आपने 90% माइंड में और 10% पेपर्स पे या एक्सेल शीट्स में है, वो 10% उसको हैंड ओवर कर दिया, पर उस 90% को पाने के लिए फिर उसको अगले 3 महीने लगाने पड़ेंगे। So whenever we look at the assignment, look it in form of assignment and talk to the team before it gets deployed, that until unless this report is finalized, you have to there please think through it. और रेगुलेटर्स हमेशा यही एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि उसकी बाउंड्रीज जरूर क्लोज्ड हों। मैनी टाइम्स व्हाट हैपन्स इज दैट अगर हमने 5 कंपनीज देखी, बट उन 5 कंपनीज में ग्लेयरिंग हमें दिख रहा है कि द नेक्स्ट 10 कंपनीज आर ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व एंड दैट चेन इज इंक्रीजिंग। सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू कवर दोज पॉइंट्स। पर हम क्या करते हैं, अरे हमें तो ये 5 कंपनी नहीं है, इन 5 कंपनीज को किया, इनके हमने लिख दिए पॉइंट्स क्या हैं। दूसरा जो मेजर मैं देखता हूँ, जैसे हम ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में बाकी में लिख देते हैं, इट इज़ बेस्ड ऑन द मैनेजमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन, बट यहाँ पे ये लिख नहीं सकते कि द डाटा फ्रॉम द मैनेजमेंट इज़ नॉट अवेलेबल, सो दे आर इन अ पोजिशन वेयर इन दे आर नॉट एबल टू मूव फॉरवर्ड, देन दे डोंट कम्युनिकेट। वो बैठे रहते हैं और फिर पता लगता है कि रिपोर्ट में वो पॉइंट आया ही नहीं क्योंकि वो डाटा नहीं था। वो इसलिए ही हो रहा है क्योंकि वो कनेक्ट कहीं ना कहीं लूज़ हो रहा है। टीम जो है, जो बैठी है, वो ना ही तो इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी को, उसके ऑफिसर्स को कम्युनिकेट कर रही है, ना पार्टनर इन्वॉल्व हो रहा है, वो कह रहा है मैंने रिसोर्स दिया हुआ है। तो जब तक ये एज एन असाइनमेंट फॉरेंसिक पूरा कंप्लीट नहीं होगा, द रिपोर्ट विल नॉट कम एज अ वेरी रिपोर्ट, जिसको हम कहते हैं कि द वैल्यू क्रिएशन फॉर द रेगुलेटर्स एंड द स्टेक होल्डर्स। अब एक बात ये भी देखने में आती है कि अब रिपोर्ट ड्राफ्टिंग बहुत ही चैलेंजिंग काम है, और मोस्ट ऑफ द फॉरेंसिक असाइनमेंट पीपल डोंट वांट टू साइन इट एज वेल। क्यों सर, अब जब तक कोर्ट में पहुंचे तब तक तो जैसे पंकज ने कहा, पता नहीं हम भी होंगे या टीम का मेंबर भी होगा या नहीं होगा, और दूसरा वी आर नॉट रेडी टू शोल्डर द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। तो जब तक हम फोरेंसिक को अपने हिसाब से ऐसे नहीं सोचते कि ये पर्टिकुलर असाइनमेंट है एंड दिस इज़ अ लीगल असाइनमेंट जिसका ओरिजिन एक एजेंसी से हुआ है, तब तक आप जो है उसको उस आउटपुट के साथ नहीं लेके आ सकते। So till now we have discussed about the purpose for which the entire scheme has been envisaged. The second is the modus operandi and third is the impact. अभी क्या होता है ना, ऑडिटिंग में एविडेंसेस एंड फोरेंसिक असाइनमेंट में एविडेंसेस में देयर इज अ मेजर डिफरेंस, बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द फोरेंसिक्स आर डन फॉर द क्रिमिनल लायबिलिटीज वेयर द ऑडिटिंग इज मोस्टली फॉर द सिविल लायबिलिटीज। सो व्हाट हैपन्स इज दैट कि मेरा जैसे ऑडिट का रूट चलता है कि अच्छा मैंने बनाई रिपोर्ट, उसके 2-4 इंस्टेंस लगा दिए और उसको कंप्लीट कर लिया, बट फोरेंसिक में सैम्पलिंग नहीं होती है। अगर आप कोई भी एरिया कर रहे हैं तो फ्रॉम अ रेगुलेटर इन द कोर्ट्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दे मे चैलेंज यू दैट व्हाई इट इज सिलेक्टिव। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने डमी वेंडर्स, इन्फ्लेटेड परचेजेस, डमी लोन्स, बहुत सारी चीज़ें देखनी शुरू की। आप ये नहीं कह सकते सर मैंने जो है टॉप 5 उठाए और उन टॉप 5 के डॉक्यूमेंट चेक कर लिए एंड दैट इज़ ओके। यहाँ पे आपको अगर वो 100 वेंडर्स हैं, अगर उसके 100 प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, वो सारे आपको देखने पड़ेंगे, और उसमें देखने के बाद आपको हर एक पे कि वाई इट इज़ ओके, वाई इट इज़ नॉट ओके, एंड टिल व्हाट लेवल आई वांट टू गो बेस्ड ऑन द डिसीजन यू विल हैव टू रिकॉर्ड इट एज वेल कि सर मैंने ये देखे इनके इस साल में ये these were the 100 vendors and these transactions, these are the companies which are very good, these are the companies and firms which are not so good, these are the instances we have covered based on this. तो forensic जैसे हम कहते हैं कि साइंटिफिक होना चाहिए, बट इट इज़ एन आर्ट एज वेल, बिकॉज every time when we look at a case, even myself at the next leg believes कि इसका इन्वेस्टिगेशन ऐसे नहीं ऐसे होना चाहिए. और यहाँ पे बैठे जितने लोग हैं they might feel कि अगर मैं एक पर्टिकुलर इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहा हूँ तो मेरे लिए ये वाला ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट लेग है या ये वाला ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट लेग है. एंड दैट कम्स फ्रॉम द एक्सपीरियंस, दैट कम्स फ्रॉम द अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट कि वो कैसे मूव कर रहा है. तो मैंने जैसे जब कहा था ना पर्पस एंड मोडस ऑपरेंडी, क्यों हमें उसके माइंड में घुसना है, इज बिकॉज ऑफ दिस रीजन ओनली. जो अकाउंटिंग में दिख रहा हो वो पता नहीं उसका मोडस ऑपरेंडी भी है या नहीं है. अकाउंटिंग में तो बड़ा क्लियरली दिखता है उसने डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट किया हुआ है उसके साथ, बट वो डेवलपमेंट एग्रीमेंट क्यों किया, क्या वो प्रोजेक्ट बेनिफिशियल था या नहीं, क्या ये बिजनेस डिसीजन सही था या नहीं, वेदर ए प्रूडेंट बिजनेसमैन विल डू सच काइंड ऑफ ए डिसीजन और नॉट, then your mind will start working how they have framed it. Then हमने बात की एविडेंसेस की कि एविडेंस जब मैं फॉर्म करता हूँ, जब मैंने ये एनालिसिस कर ली, when I have decided that this is my mind which says that these particular people through this modus operandi have siphoned off, diverted, done these transactions in such a manner, then my evidence has to be very strong, because in the forensics the onus is upon the person who is doing it to prove beyond the reasonable doubt that this person has done it. Many of us might have gone through the forensic and investigation standards as well, which were notified in 2023. So while coming in the morning, I was speaking to a person who was part of the committee and who was a very big contributor, and he's partner in one of the big firms. So he was telling me that these can be a guidance for the people who are doing the forensics, but every case is unique. Why so? Because as we all are aware that the innovator mind, the person who is formulating the scheme of these misrepresentation, deceiving someone, has got a unique personality. He might be operating in the way which all of us might have not across at this point of time. जैसे जो हमने बेसिक बातें की कि इनवॉइसेस डमी कर दिए, डमी एंट्रीज कर ली, अंडर वैल्यूएशन ओवर वैल्यूएशन कर लिया, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट के थ्रू कर लिया, लैंड ट्रांजैक्शंस के थ्रू कर लिया, लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस के, ये 20 साल पुरानी बातें हो गई हैं. अब द लेवल हैज़ गॉन अ लिटिल हायर. फिर एक टाइम आया जब फेयर वैल्यूएशन की शेयर्स चली, डिवेंचर्स वो करके कन्वर्ट करने का वो चला कि डिवेंचर्स को इसमें कन्वर्ट कर लें. अब एसएमई का चल रहा है काफ़ी बड़े लेवल पे. बीच में स्टॉक मार्केट वाज वेरी हाईली एक्टिव. तो हर टाइम में द इनोवेशन इज गेटिंग लाइक न्यूअर एंड न्यूअर, एडवांस्ड एंड एडवांस्ड. But we can only challenge it when we are equipped enough and are ready to surpass that thinking. अभी हम बहुत से केसेस देखते हैं जिसमें कि जो गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स हैं, मेनली रिलेटेड टू सब्सिडीज़ है, या बहुत सारे ऐसे पॉइंट्स हैं जहाँ पे इट इज़ गिवन फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ द पीपल. वहाँ पे मैं देखता हूँ दी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन इज़ परफेक्ट, accounting is perfect, auditing is perfect, no qualification audit report, tax audit report is also okay, no other scrutiny is pending, due diligence is very okay. But at the back end of it, जैसे वो lifting of corporate veil है हमारा concept सदियों पुराना, वही है कि lifting of the colored arrangement is the basic purpose of the investigation. It far travels beyond my legal world, it travels far beyond my regulatory compliance world. It is majorly in the form of that how that person is thinking. So once we have established the purpose, the modus operandi, and the impact of it, and we are able to see that where the money is flowing, and we have categorically bound in the boundary, we have given all the evidences, and we are able to make the other person understand in a very simple term, only then the forensic assignment gets completed. बिकॉज आपकी 1 साल की 6 महीने की 2 साल की मेहनत कोर्ट में 2 मिनट लेती है. अगर आप इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी को 2 मिनट में समझा पाते हो कि इसने ऐसे किया और ऐसे किया और ये आ गया, तब तो वो कोर्ट को भी समझ में आता है. अदरवाइज जो कॉम्प्लेक्स वर्ल्ड है अकाउंटिंग का, उसको आप अगर सिंप्लीफिकेशन फॉर्म में उसके माइंड के हिसाब से नहीं देख पा रहे, तो देयर आर वेरी लेस चांसेस. इसका मतलब आपने वो जो फोरेंसिक जो डेप्थ की बात करता है उसको किया ही नहीं है. तो अब जो फॉर्म्स हमारे पास आ रहे हैं फॉर द एम्पैनलमेंट्स, फॉर द डूइंग द असाइनमेंट्स, व्हाट वी एक्सपेक्ट कि एक तो टेक्नोलॉजी लेवल पे वो आगे बढ़े. जो नए नए टूल्स आ रहे हैं रिलेटेड टू मनी ट्रेल्स, रिलेटेड टू डाटा एनालिटिक्स, इतने सारे ओपन बेस्ड इन्वेस्टिगेशन टूल्स भी अवेलेबल हैं इवन गूगल पे, विच सरप्राइजेस मी. हम मतलब अगर उनको भी सर्च करके उनकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी लेने की कोशिश करें ना, यूर इवन मतलब प्रोफेशनल लाइफ अदर देन द फोरेंसिक विल ऑल्सो चेंज. बट हम उस लेवल पे आने नहीं चाहते. आई अंडरस्टैंड द कमर्शियल कंसिडरेशन सेट टू इट, बट व्हेन यू आर वेंचरिंग इनटू अ फील्ड, जब हम सीए करना शुरू करते हैं या जॉब करना शुरू करते हैं, प्रैक्टिस करना शुरू करते हैं, तो वी टेक अ लीप ऑफ फेथ दैट दिस विल हैपन. सो इन द सेम मैनर व्हेन यू आर इनटू द फोरेंसिक्स, देन यू विल हैव टू इक्विप योरसेल्फ. अब तो इंडेक्सिंग के टूल्स इतने सारे आ चुके हैं मार्केट में कि आप सारे के सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स में स्कैन करके डालो, इट विल गिव यू अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल पिक्चर. आप उसमें बैंक स्टेटमेंट डालो, इट विल गिव यू अ मनी ट्रेल. आप उसमें लोगों के डिटेल्स डालो, इट विल गिव यू अ फैमिली एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल ट्री. एंड नॉट ओनली एट द इंडिया लेवल, देयर आर सम सॉफ्टवेयर विच टॉक अबाउट द इंटरनेशनल वर्ल्ड वाइड connections, forming trees, forming organizational structures, forming asset positions. So this way you yourself will feel that you have become a front leader in the field of forensics. The second is, as we have discussed, about the team formations. Investigation is highly different from the auditing point, and thereon it is very necessary that the teams which are trained for these particular assignments are passionate about investigations. It is more about the habit of digging into, combined with the skill set. Then the report drafting shall be with the combination of the senior person in the firm or whosoever is taking the assignment, so that when the draft gets framed, because the report is the final output of any forensic assignment. So if that is not structured in a proper way, if it does not give the final picture of the findings, then it does not help you out in the further stage of litigations. So what is more necessary is that the reporting also is done very efficiently, accurately. So when these capacity building are created in the field, I believe the opportunities are immense. The immense opportunities which I think, because the government has also opened up in the form of various assignments which are given to the CA firms, all the investigative agencies are now, like particularly in SFIO, there are a mass hiring of consultants, mostly CAs. Then the CA firms are engaged at various levels. And in other agencies as well. In income tax also, the digital part is done mostly by the forensics team. So all the agencies are very open for the collaboration, but to be a front leader in the field of forensics, it's very necessary that we combine all these ingredients of the capacity building, so that a particular value is created, we are able to find the purpose, the modus operandi, and the impact of it. and this stands in the form of the judicial scrutiny in the later time. Thanks a lot. I believe I have tried to share my experience. Thanks a lot.
सर एक काम कर रहे हैं और डिपार्टमेंट के साथ जो चैलेंजेस आते हैं वो हम डिस्कस कर लें जतिन जी के साथ, तो आई थिंक दैट वुड बी मोर रेलेवेंट. वी कैन टेक दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस व्हेन मुकुल जी एंड अदर फैकल्टीज विल कम.
केम इनटू द पिक्चर. तो वहाँ पर जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन होता है SFI ऑफिस में, जस्ट टू कॉल द समन एंड इशू द नोटिस, वो वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होते हैं. तो वहाँ जब प्रेजेंट होते हैं तो क्या स्कोप होता है कि भाई वेदर की आपकी जो ट्रांजैक्शन है ये फ्रॉड ट्रांजैक्शन है, या आपने, क्योंकि एक केस था मेरे पास एक वैल्यूएशन का कि भाई आपने इसकी वैल्यूएशन कैसे की, किसने इसको वैल्यूएशन की, कहाँ जाके की. तो वो जो स्कोप है वो कहाँ तक का स्कोप है कि भाई ट्रांजैक्शन इज जेन्यून बट हो सकता है वैल्यूएशन गलत हो, या अंडर वैल्यूड हो या ओवर वैल्यूड हो. क्या इसके ऊपर भी एक स्कोप है SFIO का कि वहाँ पर भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन जैसे इनकम टैक्स में होता है कि भाई आप ये, आपका तो बिजनेस लॉस में आ रहा है, आप ये बिजनेस कैसे कर रहे हो, जबकि दिस इज नन ऑफ द बिजनेस ऑफ द इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट. तो SFIO को कहाँ तक स्कोप है कि जस्ट टू सीरियस फ्रॉड, और कि भाई द वे दे डन द वैल्यूएशन और समथिंग अदर्स.
I think your question is coming from some practical difficulty that you have faced. See, like I have mentioned, you have to understand the purpose. So it's not about whether you have overvalued or you have undervalued. The agency is trying to find out that at what stage it has happened, why it has happened, because the purpose is very important. For example, one business segment have to be sold out, and that business segment is a very lucrative business segment of the entire group. Even if I say that the value is very fair, that has been done in the valuation. But what will happen if through that valuation the money has moved, the major asset of the company have moved to another's pocket? So the basic purpose to interrogate is to find out that at what stage you were contacted, what was the background given to you, what was your mind speaking when you have done the particular valuation, and how that has been utilized for the purpose of the person who has asked you to do the valuation. So that is the basic premise. Then whatever challenge comes in the form of that, for example, you have used the DCF and the certain years of that DCF method has already elapsed. So you may be asked that when you have said that revenue is 100, but in the later year you have just seen that the profits all are negative, there is no business. So it might be to see that what was your mind when you said that the 100 rupees revenue will come each year. You might have your own justification in the form that, okay, I was looking at the industry segment, I was looking at the demand, or the major reply that comes is it was based on the management data. So the purpose is to know what was in the mind of the person who asked to do the valuation and the person who is doing the valuation. And in terms of scope, it is open-ended. It is governed by the section 212 to 217 of the Companies Act. But it is always to know that what was the purpose behind. Right. Yeah, you should. They have to understand your mind, not the other person's mind.
India imported $99 billion worth of goods from China. As per China's data, it was $118 billion export from China to India. So there was $19 billion worth of mismatch between Indian data and China data. So there is apparently there is something fraud or some problem is going on, because you cannot have this
You want
kind
to
of.
give us a case?
Pardon?
You want to give us a case?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The government is already the DGFT is already, I think, so checking up, verifying the data, that some fraud is already taking place, under-investing or over-investing.
Every day when I look at the newspaper, there is something in the every day happening, either in the news items or at the national level, global level, state level.
I don't do forensic, so I do not have much information about SFIU. But you know, Institute published forensic standards. I was very keenly listening to you. You were discussing that firms should have some technology, you know, minimum benchmark for the technology for doing the forensic audit. I went through the website of SFIU. That SFIU got established in 2003. So now both has a chartered accountant, you know, part of us and part of that enforcement agency, investigating agency. SFIO, what SFIO can do is they can also come up with certain publications, maybe white papers or, you know, the working papers based on the experience so far they have done the investigations. And I personally feel, you know, when we look for standards, as ICI look for standard for its members, they come up with guidance, they come up with notes. Similarly, SFIU can have the technology. You know, they can have the technology platform, technology tools, which can be provided to the firms for carrying out the audit. So what will happen, you know, when we are buying, it's like I am buying one software or tool, Mukulji is buying, Pankaj is buying, you are buying. We all four are buying separately from different vendors. But when SFIU will going to acquire, they can acquire as a unit. And being they would be buying a lot of licenses as a government unit, I think the cost of acquisition will come down. Now, this will give the advantage to SFIO that not only the firms which can put in money in the technology, but the people who are having a lot of gray cells may not be the technology. There are a lot of chartered accountants who are very intelligent, you know, extremely intelligent, but may not be having that technology at the office. They can also pitch in for the investigation. So this is just as a small advice I felt, you know, we can do and we can collaborate and work more.
So Gaurav, you have pointed two things. The one is about the publication and second is about the tools. Without revealing the details, but the agency is working not only at the national level but also at the international level. And they have visited almost all the agencies in the world. And they have invited all the forensic setups which are there all across the world. And we are working, we already have many tools, we are working on various tools, whichever is available throughout to analyze anything. But the point is that when the agency thinks the third parties, the CA firms to be engaged for the forensics, why this is there is because of the fact that they can add value to it. Because otherwise it will be a neck-biting exercise for the CA firms itself. For example, if the manpower which is available from the government side is well equipped, they are strengthened in the form of tools and everything, then it will be a better proposition for the government to work by themselves. But why the forensic experts or the professionals or as a special experts come into picture is that they can create an ecosystem through their own expertise, through their team, and thirdly, the tools that are available within the agency and with themselves in the form of collaboration so that a better efficient report is generated. But what happens is that the CA firm thinks that it will not be commercially viable for the particular firm. Why to have, like for the TP firms, what we have seen is when we talk about ProVoice, Capitaline Plus or HTP, is that the subscription is so expensive and the kind of remuneration that they get is, or the clientele exposure is not so much. But as I said, that a leap of faith that I want to be a front leader is very important. Yes, the agency has already many tools and they are working, but what happens is that there is a time lag involved in the taking the decision, taking the procurement, and when the tool comes into the picture. So to reduce that time lag, CA firm, or if the CA firm gets collaborated with the tool provider, that also we have seen in many cases that the tool provider which are good in their industry have collaborated with the CA firms, and then they come as a service provider to the agencies. So therein it can be a very good collaboration exercise.
Thank you, Jatinji. The idea was to ensure, you know, what the SFIO is expecting from us as a consultant. So, friends, you know, what I can make out is that idea is not that we go there and do the work. The idea is we go there as part of the investigating team and we add value. And to add value, we do not only need the gray cells, we also need technology and tool. So, Institute is doing a lot of programs on forensic, whether it's seminars, certificate course is now mandatory, sir, if one is to become the forensic auditor. And Mukulji also did forensic this course, and now is a faculty. But yes, one needs to invest on the technology and tools.
For the publication side also, we have a research room, and we can always collaborate to set particular guidelines or standards which can be useful, or maybe in the form of a compilation of the existing guidelines, so that it may be work as a guiding light for all the officers as well as the CA firms. That's a legislative question, yeah, but see, every act when it is formulated, the role of each person is defined. Why MLA does something, why MP cannot do something, why it is the legislative boundary. And so whenever like PMLA was formulated or the CBI came into picture and the SFIO came into picture, SFIO came into the picture on the pretext of Serious Fraud Office of London on the UK. So it was established on those lines that it will work as a single agency for the corporate world to look at the governance issues and the fraud issues. So it has got its mandate from the Companies Act. So that's why it is working on the corporates.
It's under MC. So Companies Act gave them the power. They investigate, they set up the SFIO under the MC. So that's why.
There are many ways we pick up the cases. So, yes.
Thank you, sir.
On both bases.
Thank you, Jatin. Any question from Jatinji from regulators perspective? From any of the audience? Any question? Sir. Sir. Sir, for this we have other faculties also that we will take into the next session. And if any question relating to regulators perspective, then we can take with Jatinji. Any last question? Then I have one question.
Regulator point of view, you can explain the responsibilities.
See, the responsibility emerges from where the forensic assignment has been commissioned. So if, for example, a private party has engaged you to take a particular forensic assignment, so the responsibility is limited to that party where it has been commissioned. But when an investigating agency engages you, it gives you a contract. And in those, the terms and conditions are clearly prescribed that till what level we expect you to be responsible for it. So every agency might have a different terms and condition for the engagement. And based on that, the responsibilities are fixed.
नहीं सर, हो जाता है जो फॉरेंसिक कर रहे हैं वो टूल्स एंड इन्वेस्टिगेशन इसीलिए होती है. सो
नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. टू से दैट इज वेरी काइंड नेव थिंग, बट sorry I did not get you what you said.
Sir, I think what we are discussing is not the topic for discussion. Sir, let me tell you, if something comes on the record कि ऐसा हुआ है, वो फिर पेपर से ही कैंसिल हो सकता है, वो पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस से नहीं हो सकता. पॉलिटिकल इन्फ्लुएंस केस स्टार्ट करा सकता है, क्लोज नहीं करा सकता. क्लोज तो कोर्ट को ही करना पड़ेगा. I think let's stick to the regulatory framework instead of discussing here and there. Manmohan ji, please, last question.
Sir Manmohan ji.
Pankaj ji, as you have said in your deliberations that chartered accountants are the best financial brains either side of the transaction. चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स में आजकल एक बहुत एप्रीहेंशंस है और फियर है. whatever financial fraud has been done or been done, सबसे पहले स्केपगोट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को बनाया जाता है. ये पूरे समाज में एक फियर व्याप्त है. ऐसे न्यूज़ डे बाय डे आते रहते हैं और इट इज़ विटनेस्ड ऑल्सो कि जो मेन कल्प्रिट्स हैं, हु आर द अल्टीमेट बेनिफिशरीज, जो आपने कहा कि जिनके पास नीड है, जिनकी रिवेंज है, जिनकी ग्रीड है, और चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इज ओनली अ कैलकुलेटर इन ऑल दीज थिंग्स. उसके बावजूद भी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को सबसे पहले अरेस्ट करके अंडर डाल दिया जाता है. ये एक बड़ा हमारे बीच में विटनेस भी हो रहा है और फियर बढ़ता जा रहा है. सीनियर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स इसकी वजह से ऑडिट करना छोड़ रहे हैं और इतना ज़्यादा एप्रीहेंशंस हो रहा है कि लोग कह रहे हैं यार अब ये प्रोफेशन करना मुश्किल हो गया है. इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी ये नहीं समझ पा रही हैं कि ऑडिट और फॉरेंसिक ऑडिट और इन्वेस्टिगेशन में फ़र्क है. आपने तो बड़ा अच्छे से एस्टेब्लिश किया और प्रोबेबली बिकॉज यू आर ए चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, बट ऑडिट की एक लाइन है और इन्वेस्टिगेशन. तो इसके ऊपर आपका और आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का क्या व्यू रह रहा है और इस फियर को कैसे हमारे अंदर से कम करेंगे? थैंक यू वेरी मच.
वो किसी सिम्टम से होता है, ठीक है. अब कोई भी रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क बना हुआ है, बिकॉज ऑफ दैट रेगुलेटरी फ्रेमवर्क if certain roles and responsibilities have been given to, including the regulatory agencies, if that is not proven that they have discharged their responsibilities in true fair views, हम कहते हैं ना, transparent way, अगर वो नहीं होता तो responsibility is on both sides, on the officer side as well, on the any CA firm or any CA who is involved in that. बट ये सिम्टम्स जो अब बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गए हैं, इसकी वजह से एजेंसीज केम इनटू पिक्चर. वाई नफरा केम इनटू पिक्चर, वाई अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हु आर इमर्जिंग हैज़ कम टू अ पॉइंट वेर इन दे फील, जैसे मैंने डेलीब्रेशन के स्टार्टिंग में भी कहा कि वी आर दी फ्रंट रनर, वी टेक प्राइड इन दैट. बट व्हेन वी टेक प्राइड इन दैट, व्हेन वी आर सेड दैट वी आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल, व्हेन यू आर द फ्रंट रनर, देन वी से नो, वी आर बैकिंग बिहाइंड द मैनेजमेंट, we are backing behind the information provided. So that is the gap. When I say that okay, because of the culture I am being held accountable, it is not only for a particular professional, it is because of all the people who are a stakeholder. Secondly, आप कहते हैं कि भाई जब भी मैं कोई भी काम करता हूँ उसकी वजह से मुझे फियर आ रहा है, मुझे जो है ऐसा लग रहा है कि I will become the scapegoat. तो उसमें अगर कोई भी असाइनमेंट, जैसे फोरेंसिक असाइनमेंट आपको दिया जाता है, इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर यू टू ब्रिंग दोज पिक्चर टू फोरे. बट अगर आप उसमें भी फेल होके कहते हैं जी हमें तो पता नहीं लग रहा कि कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, हम भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं हैं, वहाँ पे जहाँ अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है वहाँ पे भी आप कह रहे हैं. भाई फोरेंसिक में आपको चाहे थर्ड पार्टी एंगेज कर रही है, चाहे रेगुलेटर की तरफ से कर रहे हो, तो इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर द फ्रेटर्निटी टू कम फॉरवर्ड एंड फाइंड आउट हु हैज़ डन इट. थर्डली, जहाँ पे हमारे सर्टिफिकेट्स या जैसे सर डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि वैल्यूएशन का एक एस्पेक्ट रहता है या स्टैट ऑडिटर का रहता है, तो वहाँ पे आई डोंट वांट टू डिस्कस द इंस्टेंसेस, बट ऐसे मतलब पर्टिकुलर इंस्टेंस हैं, कोई वर्किंग पेपर्स नहीं. तो इट्स ए इकोसिस्टम. Perhaps going forward, we have to build an ecosystem that whatever we do, we are responsible for that. And when we are professional and a front runner, we say that we have done this, we are responsible, and we should be taking pride in that. And the regulatory agencies and every professional shall be a part of that ecosystem. And when the ecosystem gets collapsed in the form of any person who is going to take advantage of it, then certainly roles and responsibilities have to be fixed.
And if I am playing a role of a calculator, then I have to be accountable for the calculations also, no?
Yes, if you are sitting here, you are accountable for everything. Yeah, right. Chaliye,
Thank
I
you,
think
Jatin
I
ji, thank
have
you.
taken sufficient time. We can
थैंक यू जतिन जी सर एक इन सब डिस्कशन से ये लगा जब व्हेन आई क्वालिफाइड तो मेरे फादर कहते थे सीए को साइन करने के पैसे मिलते हैं बट नाउ सिनेरियो इज गेटिंग चेंज आज काम करने के पैसे मिलते हैं साइन करने के नहीं मिलते और साइन करना इज़ नॉट ईजी एज ऑफ नाउ सर लास्ट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम माई साइड टू यू you explained us about the purpose, intricacies and everything about the forensic. 2-3 things came from your discussion that our team is not equipped with the resources for doing the forensic. Level of technology हमारे पास नहीं होता somehow and tools not there, team not equipped. Sir, any 3 things that you have seen with SFIO जहाँ हमारे chartered accountants ने कुछ अच्छा portray किया हो? Some 3 things जो आपको लगे हमने अच्छा portray किया आपको? कि weakness तो हम सब सुनते हैं कि हम ये नहीं करते. Any 3 things, good 3 things that you have seen from our reports?
The first thing that I have seen is the dedication.
That is that
Because
we all have.
whenever an assignment is given, I can clearly see that apart from everything else, the dedication is paramount. Because of our handling the other assignments, because of our upbringing and our journey and experience as a professional, what we have seen is that dedication is very good. The second thing that I feel is that whenever they take the assignment, they are structured. So that structured thinking helps them to envisage many things and many problems and many issues that they face, especially their payments. So whenever they take an assignment, they know when and where the payment will be processed and when it will come. So the structured approach to any assignment is very good quality that I have observed. So dedication and structure helps them to deliver good results. The third thing is that the team which comes is ready to have their hands-on, in-depth analysis of whatever data is given to them. But what they lack is the initiative. So they are not able to come forward and say, apart from this point, we should look into this point and we should look into that depth. So therein, as I deliberated, that role of a senior or role of the partner comes in.
Thank you, sir.